The Philippines on Thursday, March 25, logs 8,773 new COVID-19 cases, the highest since the pandemic began. This brings the total confirmed cases in the country to 693,048, with 99,891 active. Meantime, President Rodrigo Duterte wants 9 mayors to explain why they were administered with COVID-19 vaccines when these are reserved for medical frontliners. On Wednesday, March 24, Duterte reads out the names of the following mayors who are found to have skipped the vaccine line. Duterte says there are other officials and non-health workers in a list compiled by the government, but he declines to read the names publicly. He says the officials might be liable for malversation or estafa. But presidential spokesman Harry Roque on Thursday, March 25, confirms there is a quick substitution list that allows non-healthcare workers to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Roque says the list consists of people who can be given the vaccine if a health worker does not arrive or refuses a vaccine. In related news, the National Council of Churches in the Philippines joins 2 Catholic bishops in decrying the government's ban of religious gatherings in the NCR Plus bubble until April 4. In a statement, the NCCP says it is grossly unfair to ban religious gatherings without due consultation with the churches. On March 23, Bishop Broderick Pabilio of the Archdiocese of Manila defied the government's ban by allowing churches to continue religious gatherings at 10% capacity. Caloocan Bishop Pablo Virgilio David also criticized the government for allowing spas and gyms to operate at a limited capacity while banning religious gatherings. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says the national government will review the religious group's request to hold in-person masses this Holy Week. Commission on Elections Commissioner Guanzon says local governments and not COMELEC should be blamed for the proliferation of posters of potential candidates in the 2022 elections in various parts of the country. In a tweet Wednesday, March 24, Guanzon says, "Blame your local government for tolerating littering. They have anti-littering ordinances." This comes after public criticism of the proliferation of posters urging Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte to run for president in 2022. Posters pushing the Davao Mayor to run for president have been spotted in numerous cities in Metro Manila as well as other parts of the country. Some local government units have taken down the materials as they violated local ordinances. While the Omnibus Election Code penalizes premature campaigning, COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez earlier said the banners in support of Sara Duterte do not violate election laws because she is not an official candidate yet. Police and military kill at least 8 suspected members of the New People's Army Negros Oriental Tuesday, March 23, 6 days before the founding anniversary of the armed group. The NPA is the armed wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines and will be celebrating its 52nd anniversary on March 29. The military say they were anticipating the movements of the rebel group and conducted surveillance prior to the encounter, which lasted 3 hours. In related news, Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon files a bill to criminalize the act of red tagging, citing the prevailing culture of impunity that is endangering the lives of dissenters. If passed into law, anyone found guilty of red tagging will face up to 10 years in prison. If the convicted person is a public official, he or she will also be disqualified from holding public office. Malacanang says President Rodrigo Duterte raised the presence of over 200 Chinese ships near a reef in Philippine waters during a meeting with Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Duterte reiterated the 2016 Hague ruling during the meeting, a legal victory for the Philippines that invalidated China's claim to the West Philippine Sea. Wang supposedly responded by repeating the line in press releases issued by the embassy that the ships were Chinese fishing ships seeking shelter from rough seas. But newly released aerial photos confirm observations by the Philippine military that these vessels form part of China's maritime militia. Satellite images taken by Maxar Technologies and distributed by Reuters on Thursday, March 25, showed the Chinese ships are moored in line formation in one Philippine reef in the West Philippine Sea. Analyst J. Batong says the formation of the ships signifies they plan to stay longer in the seascape. Batong further warns the presence of Chinese vessels in the reef could be the next escalation point for China to claim another territory. Efforts to dislodge a long container vessel that choked traffic along the Suez Canal resumed at high tide on Thursday, March 25. The company trying to free ship Ever Given says it's stuck like a beached whale in the Suez Canal, and that it's too early to say how long the job might take. Ever Given ran aground diagonally in the Suez Canal on Tuesday, March 23. It is now blocking transit in both directions through one of the world's busiest shipping channels, which links Asia and Europe. Roughly 30% of the world's shipping container volume transits through the Suez Canal daily, and about 12% of total global trade of all goods. Shipping experts say that if the blockage is not cleared within the next 24 to 48 hours, some shipping firms may be forced to reroute vessels around the southern tip of Africa, which would add roughly a week to the journey.